So today we'll be making pain de Campagne, or however you say it in Frenchy French. Literally translates into country bread, so it's not that exciting, but it's delicious. And it's yeast bread. Got a flour on myself. I'm gonna have to start off with about 500, actually not about, exactly 500 grams of flour. And normally, like we learned, you would normally have to fluff or sift the flour, but since we're measuring, it's going to be exact every time, so sifting isn't necessary. The only sifting I'm doing is trying to get it into this newfangled measuring device. So I almost have 500 here. There we go. 501, I said exact, but it's not necessary. And this is just a measure, or a weight scale with cutting board on it, because this thing's too small to hold this. Then you only need 1 teaspoon of instant yeast and 10 to 15 grams of salt. And then you can just put this on your stand mixer. Make sure you get your blade on there nice. Blade down in there. Now for me, I completely forgot the lid. For me, I don't know about most stand mixers, but mine has a dough setting. This is what I use. You're pretty much going to want to use it as of now, just to get the dough, or not the dough, the flour, the salt, and the yeast up. And then you're going to want to slowly add in your water until it forms into a ball. And if this happens, just kind of shake it. I don't really get it back. And then that is the ball. It doesn't look like a ball, but that's about what you want to go. And then from there, you want to go about 45 seconds, or until it has an internal temperature of 78 degrees. That took roughly 7 minutes of, I would turn on the mixer and let it spin around there for a while, and then I would check the temperature, and it takes quite a while to rise. It takes longer than you would think. Like I said, it said 2 minutes, it took me 7 minutes. Of course, I used cold from the fridge bottled water. Now this next step isn't completely necessary, but makes me feel like a real bread maker, so I like to. Yeah, you don't have to knead the bread, but I like dough, and you don't have to knead it for that long. Just just push, turn, fold, push, turn, like we learned in class. Thanks, Mrs. V. And that's pretty good. Look how pretty that is. Look at that. That's good. Then you're going to want to put it in a bowl. You're going to want to cover it, which I don't have the lid out right now, but then you're going to want to put it in the warmest, not the warmest spot, but a warm spot in your house, which for me is gross enough right next to the trash, but right next to that vent. So that's what that's going to be for the next hour and 45 minutes. When we let the dough rise and settle at the same time. Meanwhile, I collect this flour and make a side pile, which I will use later when I'm dusting the tops of them. Right before they go in. So the bread has been sitting for about 1 hour, 2 hours maybe? Probably about 2 hours, and doubled in size easily. Now, we can just get into a round. See how much more area it is? Wish I could see. get it nice and round. And I normally cut it in half and then into quarters to make my rolls or baguettes, but I think I'll test, which probably might not be a good idea. I'm going to cut them into eighths just for size wise, and I'll show you guys how to form a roll, and I'll do the rest. So I just take it in my hands and you grab it and you pull it under. So something this small, it's pretty easy, but you know, just grab, push, and then once it gets to a nice size or shape that you want, then I normally just pinch the bottom, and the bottom doesn't look that good, so I'll pinch the bottom, and that's about it. And then I'll just continue to do these, and then I'm going to put them onto a pizza stone, and there's going to be cornmeal on the bottom, and probably when we'll see you next. So the bread has been prepping for about 45 minutes. Hasn't really gotten any bigger, but it's about now that I like to, I give a little slash because the bread will open up itself, but if you open it up like this, it looks good, and you don't run the risk of some crazy design when you pull them out of the oven. And then I put them into the oven